Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yata Parakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parejana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vitam Cha Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurum Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gorva Bishtam Supurakam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasthaveda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bijapradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandabaranam Balarka Chilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Vanditam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Vanshakopatarubyas Chakripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad, and this is Adi-lila chapter 2, Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'll start with verse number 63. So Sente Trace. Vedanti tat pavidas tatvam yadzganamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabhyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is non-dual knowledge and is called impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Shunabai e shloka koraha bichar ek muktya tatva teen tahara prachar. My dear brothers, kindly listen to the explanation of this verse and consider its meaning. The one original entity is known in his three different features. Advaya Gyan Tattva Vastu Krishnara Swarup Brahma Atma Bhagavan Teen Tara Rup. Lord Krishna himself is the one undivided absolute truth, the ultimate reality. He manifests himself in three features as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Eshlokar tumi hoila nirvachan ara ekshuna bhagavatera vachan. The import of this verse has stopped you from arguing. Now listen to another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Ete chamsa kala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam mridyanti yuge yuge. All these incarnations of Godhead are either plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. In every age, he protects the world through his different features when the world is disturbed by the enemies of Indra. The enemies of Indra is the Suras. Sab avatarer kori samanya lakan taramadye Krishna chandrer kori laganan. So, for those who don't know what are asuras, Prabhupada defines them as demons. Okay. Sab avatar kori samanya lakan taramadye Krishna chandra kori lagaman. The Bhagavatam describes the symptoms and deeds of the incarnations in general and counts Sri Krishna among them. Tabeshuta gosai mane Paya Borabai Jaraje Lakantaha Korila Nishoy. This made Sutta Goswami greatly apprehensive. Therefore, he distinguished each incarnation by its specific symptoms. Avatar Sab Purusher Kala Amsha Svayam Bhagavan Krishna Sarva Avatamsha. All the incarnations of Godhead are plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But the primeval Lord is Sri Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of all incarnations. Purvapaka kohitomar balota vyakyan paravyoma Narayan Svayam Bhagavan. An opponent may say, this is your interpretation, but actually the Supreme Lord is Narayan, who is in the transcendental realm. Teho ashi Krishna rupe korena avatar e arta shloke deki ki arabichar. He, Narayan, incarnates as Lord Krishna. This is the meaning of the verse as I see it. There is no need for further consideration. There's no need for further discussion. Tarako hekene kora kutar kanuman shastra virudartha kabu na hoy Brahman. To such a misguided interpreter, we may reply, why should you suggest such fallacious logic? An interpretation is never accepted as evidence if it opposes the principles of Scripture. Anuvaram anutvatu na videyam udirayet na I alabda spadam kinchit kutrachit pratitishtati. One should not state a predicate before its object, for it cannot thus stand without proper support. Anuvad na koya na kohi videya, age anuvad kohi paschat videya. If I do not state a subject, I do not state a predicate. First I speak the former, and then I speak the latter. So, subject is who is performing the action, the predicate is the action that's performed. In English, this would be as the subject, and then the verb, what the subject is doing. And more so in Sanskrit, you have to define a subject before you talk about what the subject is doing. So this is what it means in terms of subject and predicate. Videya kohiye tare je vastu agyata anuvad kohitare je hoy gyata. The predicate of a sentence is what is unknown to the reader, whereas the subject is what is known to him. So if I say a subject, I say the boy, then I say the predicate, what he does. So the predicate of a subject is what is unknown to the reader, whereas the subject is what is known to him. Jaichikohi e vipra parama pandita vipra anuvad ihar videya panditya. For example, we may say this vipra, or this Brahman, this vipra is a greatly learned man. In this sentence, the vipra is the subject and the predicate is his erudition. Vipratva vigyata tara panditya agyata ateva vipra age panditya paschata. The man's being a vipra is known, but his erudition is unknown. Therefore, the person is identified first and his erudition later. Taiche iha avatar sab hoila gyata kara avatara e vastu avigyata. In the same way, all these incarnations were known, but whose incarnations they are was unknown. Ete shabde avatarer age anuvad Purushara amsha pache videya samvad. First, the word ete, these, establishes the subject, the incarnations. Then plenary portions of the Purusha avatars follows as the predicate. Taiche Krishna avatar bitare hoila gyata tahara viseshe Vishesha Jnana se avigyata. In the same way, when Krishna was first counted among the incarnations, specific knowledge about him was still unknown. Ateva Krishna Shabda Age Anuvad Svayam Bhagavata Piche Videya Sambad. Therefore, first the word Krishna appears as a subject, followed by the predicate describing him as the original personality of Godhead. Krishnera Svayam Bhagavata Iha Hoila Sadya Svayam Bhagavanera Krishnatva Hoila Bhadya. This establishes that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. The original personality of Godhead is therefore necessarily Krishna. Krishna Jadi Amsha Hoita Amshi Narayana Tavi Viparito Hoila Sutra Rabachan. Had Krishna been the plenary portion and Narayan the primeval Lord, the statement of Sutta Goswami would have been reversed. Narayana Amshi Jai Svayam Bhagavan Teho Shri Krishna Aiche Korita Vyakyan. Thus he would have said, Narayana, the source of all incarnations, is the original personality of Godhead. He has appeared as Sri Krishna. Brahma Pramada Vipralipa Karana Patava Brahma Pramada Vipralipsa Karana Patava Harsha Vigya Vakye Nahi Dosha Esava. Mistakes, illusions, cheating, and defective perception do not occur in the sayings of the authoritative sages. Virudarta kohatumi kohite jararosh tomara arte avimurishta videyam sadosh. You say something contradictory and become angry when this is pointed out. Your explanation has the defect of a misplaced object. This is an unconsidered adjustment. So in order for you to say that Narayan is the Supreme Lord, is contradictory, because then you're putting the predicate before. You're reversing the sentence. You're not making it understood. First, you have to have the subject, and it says Krishna, and then is the Supreme Personality of God. Jara Bhagavata Hoite Amyara Bhagavata Svayam Bhagavan Shabder Tahate Sata. Only the personality of God, the source of all other divinities, is eligible to be designated Svayam Bhagavan, or the primeval Lord. Deepa Hoite Jaiche Bahu Deepera Jwalan Mula Ek Deepa Taha Korayegaman. When from one candle many others are lit, I consider that one the original. Taiche Sab Avatarer Krishna Se Karana Ara Ek Shloka Shuna Korvyakya Kandana. Krishna in the same way is the cause of all causes and all incarnations. Please hear another verse to defeat all misinterpretations. Atrasargo visargascha stanam poshanam utayaha manvantaresh shanukata nirodho muktir ashrayaha dashamasya vishudi artam Navanam iha lakshanam varnayanti mahatmana shutenartena chanjasha. Here in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10 subjects are described. 1, the creation of the ingredients of the cosmos. 2, the creations of Brahma. 3, the maintenance of the creation. 4, special favor given to the faithful. 5, impetuses for activity. 6, prescribed duties for law-abiding men. 7, a description of the incarnations of the Lord. 8, the winding up of the creation. 9, liberation from gross and subtle material existence. And 10, the ultimate shelter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The 10th item is the shelter of all the others, to distinguish This ultimate shelter from the other 9 subjects, the Mahajans have described these 9 directly or indirectly through prayers or direct explanations. And that 10th subject, which is in, of course, the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is the description of Krishna's appearance and activities. And it goes on, I believe, like 90 chapters. So it's obviously the central importance of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the description about Krishna. Ashraya janite kohi e nava padartha enavera utpatti hetu se ashrayartha. To know distinctly the ultimate shelter of everything that be, I have described the other 9 categories. The cause for the appearance of these 9 is rightly called their shelter. So the shelter is Ashraya. Krishna Eg Sarvashraya, Krishna Sarvadam, Krishnara Sharyare Sarva Vishwara Vishram. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is the shelter and abode of everything. All the universes rest in his body. Dashame Dashamam Laksham Ashrita Ashraya Vigraham Sri Krishnakyam Param Dhamma Jagadhamma Namamitat. The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam reveals the 10th subject, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of all surrendered souls. He is known as Sri Krishna, and he is the ultimate source of all the universes. Let me offer my obeisances unto him. Krishnara Swarup Ar Shakti Traya Gyan Jarahoy Taranahi Krishneti Agyan. One who knows the real feature of Sri Krishna and his 3 different energies cannot remain ignorant about him. Krishnara Saruper Hoy Shadvida Vilas Prabhava Vaibhava Rupe Dvivida Prakash. The personality of God as Sri Krishna enjoys himself in 6 primary expansions. His 2 manifestations are Prabhav and Vaibhava. Now the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita turns to a description of the personality of Godhead Krishna in his innumerable expansions. The Lord primarily expands himself in 2 categories, namely Prabhava and Vaibhava. The Prabhava forms are fully potent, like Sri Krishna, and the Vaibhava forms are partially potent. The Prabhava forms are manifested in relation with potencies, but the Vaibhava forms are manifested in relation with excellences. The potent Prabhava manifestations are also of 2 varieties, temporary and eternal. The Mohini, Hamsa, and Shukla forms are manifested only temporarily in terms of a particular age. Among the other Prabhavas who are not very famous according to the material estimation are Dhanvantari, Rishabh, Vyasa, Dattatreya, and Kapila. Among the Vaibhava Prakash forms are Kurma, Matsya, Narayan, Varaha, Hayagriva, Krishnigarbha, Baladev, Yagya, Vibhu, Satyasena, Hari, Vaikunta, Ajita, Vamana, Sarvabhauma, Rishabh, Vishvaksena, Dharma Setu, Sudama, Yogeshwara, and Brihadbanu. Amsha Shakyavesh Rupe Dvi Vidavatar Valyapoganda Dharma Duita Prakar. His incarnations are of 2 kinds, namely partial and empowered. He appears in two ages, childhood and boyhood. The vilasa forms are 6 in number. Incarnations are of 2 varieties, namely Shakyavesh, empowered, and Amshavesh, partial. These incarnations also come with the category of Prabhav and Vaibhava manifestations. Childhood and boyhood are 2 special features of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, but his permanent feature is his eternal form as an adolescent youth. The original personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is always worshipped in his eternal adolescent form. Kishora Swarup Krishna Svayam Avatari Krida Kori Echai Rupe Vishvabhari. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who is eternally an adolescent, is the primeval Lord, the source of all incarnations. He expands himself in these 6 categories of forms to establish his supremacy throughout the universe. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who is eternally an adolescent, is the primeval Lord, the source of all incarnations. He expands himself in these 6 categories of forms to establish his supremacy throughout the universe. Echai Rupe Hoy Ananta Vibed Ananta Rupe Ek Rupa Nahi Kichubed. In these 6 kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties, although there are many. In these 6 kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties. Although they are many, they are all one. There is no difference between them. The personality of Godhead manifests himself in 6 different features. 1, Prabhava, 2, Vaibhava, 3, empowered incarnations, 4, partial incarnations, 5, childhood, and 6, boyhood. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, whose permanent feature is adolescence, enjoys his transcendental proclivities by performing pastimes in these 6 forms. In these 6 features, there are unlimited divisions of the personality of Godhead's forms. The jivas, or living beings, are differentiated parts and parcels of the Lord. They are all diversities of the one without a second, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So sometimes terminology is used for the jivas, separated parts and parcels. They're not in the category, obviously, of avatars or incarnations, but the jivas are expansions of the Lord, but they're called separated. They're not synonymous with Krishna, but they are separated parts and parcels. Chit Shakti, Sarup Shakti, Antaranganam, Ihara Vaibhava, Ananta Vaikuntariram. The Chit Shakti, which is also called Sarup Shakti or Antaranga Shakti, displays many varied manifestations. It sustains the kingdom of God and its paraphernalia. Maya Shakti Bahiranga Jagat Karan Tahara Vaibhava Nanta Brahmanderegan. The external energy called Maya Shakti is the cause of innumerable universes with varied material potencies. Jiva Shakti Tatastakya Nahi Jara Anta Mukyatin Shakti Tara Vibeda Ananta. The marginal potency, which is between these two, consists of the numberless living entities. These are the 3 principal energies which have unlimited categories and subdivisions. Emata Swarup Gan Aratin Shakti Savara Ashraya Krishna Krishne Savarastiti. These are the principal manifestations and expansions of the personality of Godhead in his 3 energies. They are all emanations from Sri Krishna, the transcendence. They have their existence in him. Jajapi Brahmanda Ganer Purusha Ashray Se Purushadi Savar Krishna Mulashray. Although the three Purushas are the shelter of all the universes, Lord Krishna's original source of the Purushas, Svayam Bhagavan Krishna Sarvashray, Paramaishvara Krishna Sarva Shastrakoi. Thus, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is the original primeval Lord, the source of all other expansions. All the revealed scriptures accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachid Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Esab Siddhanta Tumi Jana Balomate Tabu Purva Paka Kora Ama Chalaite. You know all the conclusions of the scriptures very well. You create these logical arguments just to agitate me. Say Krishna Avatari Brajendra Kumar Apane Chaitanya Rupe Koila Avatar. That same Lord Krishna, the fountainhead of all incarnations, is known as the son of the king of Braja. He has descended personally as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ateva Chaitanya Gosai Paratatvasima Tare Shiroda Shaki Shayi Kohe E Tara Mahima. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the supreme absolute truth. To call him Shirodakshai Vishnu does not add to his glory. So maybe we'll find in Chaitanya Bhagavat description of Mahaprabhu coming from Shirodakshai Vishnu. Well, like that, but actually we accept the conclusion of Chaitanya Charitamrita as being the final statement, whereas that, as we stated, that Mahaprabhu is Krishna covered with the Bhavakanti, or the mood and the beauty of Srimati Radharani. Seta Bhaktera Bhakya Nahi Vyabhichari Sakala Sambhave Tate Jate Avatari. But such words from the lips of a sincere devotee cannot be false. All possibilities abide in him, for he is the primeval Lord. So if you say he is an incarnation of Shirodakshai Vishnu, you can say it doesn't really add to his glories because he's more than that, but at the same time it's not a false statement. Because if you have the source of all incarnations, then everything is there within him. But such words from the lips of a sincere devotee cannot be false. All possibilities abide in him, for he is the primeval Lord. Avatarer dehe sab avatarer stiti keho kon mate kohe jemana jaramati. All other incarnations are situated in potential form in the original body of the primeval Lord. Thus, according to one's opinion, one may address him as any one of the incarnations. So we would say it's not false, but there's a fallacy in logic called damnation by faint praise. It means you're not addressing the full glories of Krishna if you just call him an incarnation of Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Although when you have, you're not addressing the full glory of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if you call him an incarnation of Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Now, if we say Krishna is the source of all incarnations, then we can say that Krishna, Mahaprabhu is Krishna, so he's also, you could say he's also, that includes Kshirodakshai Vishnu. But at the same time, we could say the supreme authority, say the king, his everything functions under him. But if you refer to the king as the proprietor of all the prisons or all the prison houses, that's not much glory for him. He is, in the sense that all potencies are happening under the king. He maintains the whole realm. But you're not stating his full glories. His full glories would be he's the supreme ruler. So if you just call, therefore there's, as I said, the fallacy of damnation by faint praise. But not giving the full glories, that's not really. Okay, therefore Lord Chaitanya is Ateva Chaitanya Gosai Paratattva Sima Tare Chiroda Shayi Kohe Ki Tara Mahima. Therefore Lord Chaitanya is the supreme absolute truth. To call him Kshirodakshai Vishnu does not add to his glory. Seta Bhaktera Bhakya Nahi Bhyavichari Sakala Sambhave Tate Jate Avatari. But such words from the lips of a sincere devotee cannot be false. All possibilities abide in him, for he is the primeval Lord. Avatarer dehe sab avatarer stiti keho kon mate kohe jemana jaramati. All other incarnations are situated in potential form in the original body of the primeval Lord. Thus, according to one's opinion, one may address him as any one of the incarnations. Krishna ke kohaye keho Narayan keho kohe Krishna hoy sakat vamana. Some say that Sri Krishna is directly Narayan. Others say that he is directly Vamana. Keho kohe Krishna shiroda shayi avatar asambhava nahi satya vachana savar. Some say that Krishna is the incarnation of Kshirodakshai Vishnu. None of these statements is impossible. Each is as correct as the others. Keho kohe paravyome Narayana Hari Sakala Sambhave Krishna Jade Avatari. Some call him Hari, or the Narayan of the transcendental world. Everything is possible in Krishna, for he is the primeval Lord. Shab Shrota Ganer Kore Chanana Bandhan Esab Siddhanta Shuna Kore Ekman. I offer my obeisances unto the feet. I offer my obeisances unto the feet of all who hear or read this discourse. Kindly hear with attention the conclusion of all these statements. Siddhanta Boliya Chite Nakora Alash Iha Hoite Krishna Lage Sudrida Manas. A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them controversial, for such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus one's mind becomes attached to Sri Krishna. Chaitanya Mahima Jani Esab Siddhante Chitta Drida Hoya Lage Mahima Jnana Hoite. But by such conclusive studies, Chaitanya Mahima Jani Sab Siddhante Chitta Drida Hoya Lage Mahima Jnana Hoite. By such conclusive studies, I know the glories of Lord Chaitanya. Only by knowing these glories can one become strong and fixed in attachment to him. Chaitanya Prabhura Mahima Kohi Bharatare Krishnara Mahima Kohe Korea Vistare. Just to enunciate the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have tried to describe the glories of Sri Krishna in detail. So that's very important here. Just to enunciate the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have tried to describe the glories of Sri Krishna in detail. Chaitanya Gosare Tattva Nirupan Svayam Bhagavan Krishna Brajendra Nandan. The conclusion is that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the son of the King of Braja. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 2nd chapter, describing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 2nd chapter, describing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the end of the 2nd chapter. Now we'll sing Hari Harai. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gananada Shiva Sadi Gora Bhaktivedanta Gopada Bhatta Dasa Raguna H.I. Gosai Gauri Charana Bandhan Jai Vignana Shabista Puran H.I. Gosai Jar Muri Charana Vasabha Pada Renu Mora Panchagra Radher Charana Sevi Bhakta Saniva Janame More Amilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhar Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmawacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tarasada Shri Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tata Sada Shri Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Ragana, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Ragana, Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premzigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati, Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishwavarenya, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Kushamasha Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Kuladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Guna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Madam Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Jo Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shri Nashingadev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.